Hi, Jan. Good to have you with us. Welcome, everybody. This is Encounters. We're just playing around with our camera a little bit here, folks. Let me just do this here before it loses it. Whoops. Not what we wanted to do, but we are playing around with the camera. Welcome to Encounters, everybody. This is CmdrAleon with you. Glenn, everybody, this is the late night show. Just adjusting our camera here. And you're on Encounters here. Let's discuss disclosure, UFOs, and ET visitation. That's right. No cider. We'll get cider this weekend, though. We have ice water on the show tonight. Another exciting edition of Encounters. We're on this morning. Our morning show, which was on today during the morning, is on our YouTube channel, Ashtar Command Spaceship News. So you'll see our show this morning. We did 2 interviews this morning with 2 people. And as always, a great show. So tonight we are certainly looking forward to having another exciting show. I'm also here tonight with one of my, and I'll probably do this towards the latter part of the show. I've got a very special Encounters crystal that will blow your mind. We're going to show that a little bit later on Encounters. I have many, many crystals that are totally out of this world. The Soul Keeper, I'm getting better, getting into my astral body at night when I sleep. Beautiful. Soul Keeper, that's a good thing. Let's see here. Let me see what's happening. I'm going to be doing a lot of interviews tonight, I have a feeling, with different people. And we're going to have people on in a little bit. We just got on here, so thank you so much, Michael, for the roses. And we certainly can start off with gifts. We certainly will. And if you're in there, and good to have you with us, Nebula. You're going to definitely come on, Nebula. We're going to have you on a little bit. We're just getting started here, so you'll be our first guest, Nebula, for sure. And I got a feeling we're going to have a very exciting night on this Friday night on Encounters. You know what? I did a Google search on my show. I don't know why, but I did a Google search. Now, I'm not sure how Google does this, but on my Google search, it shows, me in pictures of many various videos, including some of my live shows like this. And on the Google search, it says people that have searched on Google with just putting in Encounters UFO Talk Show. One, it said 1.2 billion. Another one, it said 2.2 billion people have actually viewed on Google looking at Encounters, or at least looking or searching maybe. All I know is that when I saw that, I said, what? I don't understand what that means. I don't understand that. So anyone who knows a lot about searching on the internet does, when they show you 1.2 billion people have actually viewed a search engine for Encounters, that doesn't mean that there's like 1.2 billion people around the world that actually looked on Google. I don't understand that. I don't understand what that was. It's a search count. So that means, Mac, that 1.2 billion people did a search of Encounters. Am I correct about that? I'm still a little bit confused. This is a search engine, not watching it. Claire, good to see you with us. I mean, that kind of blew me away. Worldwide search for terms. Oh, so it's a worldwide search for terms. Okay. That's pretty wild. Thank you. I didn't understand what that meant. Interesting. It's still very interesting. So when they're searching for the term Encounters, they might have come across the Encounters TV show, and so they might have been looking for other encounters other than me, but it shows that was like the whole page was showing 1.2 billion views or something on that search. That's pretty crazy. However that works. But anyway, welcome everybody to the show. Good to have you all here. Not everybody's here yet because I know it's going to get crazy. When I say crazy, crazy good. And please tap the buttons. Please share. It's 10:55 in the evening. Okay. Let's go. Please go to my CmdrAleon 2022. If you see me point up there to the little blue area where it says CmdrAleon and then it's blue, if you press that, that will go to my link from my Venmo. So go to my Venmo app and you can actually make a donation directly to my Venmo right up there. You got to press the link and actually you can donate whatever you want on the Venmo. I usually will say 5, 10, or 15, which is reasonable for those that can afford it. If you're a person that wants to do it like once in a while, that's fine too. I pretty much leave it up to your universal meditation within yourself, you know. Also, definitely, as we're getting started here, we definitely love your gifts. They really are showing your love for what we do. Those that can do it, that have I always use the word abundance because everyone has abundance in different ways, spiritually, cosmically, whatever. But if you're financially gifted with abundance on this planet and you're here and you have a lot of TikTok coins, those little invisible thingies, being from Mars, I don't understand any of this, but just send a gift. It can be a whale, it can be those dangling lights that go by, or some beautiful, colorful things that look like a rainbow, or all that crazy stuff that they have there on TikTok Giftland that you can give to the show or to a show or a broadcast or whatever. So as we go into this, we're going to be on here till 12:30 tonight on the East Coast. Throughout our time being on here tonight, exactly, and Shelly's one of my moderators. Thank you for reminding people. Donation gifts, taps are all greatly appreciated, and they are. You know they are. And we love you all because you really are what makes this show beautiful. All the new people, all the people that have been watching this show for many, many months this year, you're the people that make this show important. There's nothing here but a great deal of love for all of you. All the people finding the show, all the things you're learning here, the stories that people are telling. A lot of great storytellers who tell their stories here, their encounters, their sightings, their excitement for things that are happening, disclosure, all these things, right? So, Rachel, good to have you with us. She was right to Keyminator. Shelly Star, thank you for starting. Also sending some gifting. Lady Glitter, good to have you with us. So let's get the gifting going as I'm getting amped up here. And I am getting amped up. Good to have everybody here. So if you could afford a gift of your TikTok coins, please, whether it be little things or bigger ones, whatever it is, it's all good. Shelly, thank you again. We appreciate it. Anything from the big, colorful galaxies or whatever it is that you think you feel the commander should see on his screen as a gift, we'll take it. That's your way of donating unconditionally to the show. And we appreciate it. Thank you very much, Shelly Stardust. So we're going to take some guests on here. I know you want to hear from people. We have 43 of 100 people in subscription right now with encounters. For people that don't know who I am, I came out of the closet when I was a kid in the 60s and then went back in quietly for a while, for a number of years. As I became older, I came back out of the closet again, permanently. And that's the fact that I'm from Mars. So if you're new here, you're talking to CmdrAleon. I also worked with the Ashtar Galactic Command as an adult before there was internet, before there were even websites saying the word Ashtar. I've been in contact with Kadar Manka as a telepathic communicator. I don't channel anything. I get direct information from him always. It's always accurate information, and I get that constantly. I'm also a contactee. For those that are new here, I'd like to give you my on-air talk show bio. I've been a contactee in the 1960s. I visibly saw people on a flying saucer craft in a cul-de-sac where I was living as a kid, and it was at night, and there were men, women, and children, human like us, wearing what I call a bluish, glittery, kind of like a light blue outfits, space outfits or space suits, and they were telepathically communicating with me, saying to me, for those that are new, that I wasn't from here. Yeah, I had a biological family that I was to be with, but I actually came from not here. And then I would quiet for a number of years. I had many visual sightings at 3 a.m. of craft going over the night sky. And then I finally became awakened to a much larger, mature understanding of who I was. And Pineal Peril, yes, starseed, yes, absolutely true. And I knew what my mission was. I found it when I met this woman, Ashtar Athena. I'm telling you a story here as we get ready for new people coming in here. She's from Venus. I met her years ago. She was a writer. And I found out about her through a being called Bashar. If you heard of Bashar, I had been reading about this woman in a magazine I happened to pick up by chance called Sedona Journal of Emergence. This is back in the late 80s, early 90s. And Bashar said, "Oh, Ashtar." I said, "Say hello to Ashtar for me. Do you know about this woman, Ashtar? Ashtar Command, Ashtar." And he says to me, "Bashar, yes, we'll send a message to them." And he's with the Essassani. So I finally called this number in Sedona Journal from one of her direct messages from Commander Ashtar. And I said, I have to find this person. And I find out they were at a workshop in New York. She was in New York State, and she was from Sedona, Arizona at the time, with her Ashtar base. I met her, get stuck here. I'm telling you a story, a true story. I had a cassette tape, and I wanted to interview this Ashtar. I said I wanted to know who this Ashtar was. I had no idea who Ashtar was. I was doing a reggae show called Street Feeling on a radio station at the time, playing Bob Marley and things like that. So I go with my little cassette recorder to this place in Wappinger Falls, New York. And this is an interesting story. I meet all these people, including a well-known musician now, Richard Schulman. He made New Age music. He's produced many CDs. And I know him personally. But I just met him. And he was there, and the oldest people are there. And I'm saying, okay, I'm going to interview this Ashtar. So Ashtar had an alignment with this woman, Athena, from Venus. And so I interviewed Ashtar with my little cassette recorder. They didn't have CDs. They didn't have all that stuff. It was all albums, when we were in the studio. So I said, okay, we'll do this, and then I'll go home. Later in the day, I'll go home. I ended up getting stuck in Wappinger Falls in somebody's apartment complex, and outside on the first floor was a window, like a sliding door. And it was just strange. Everything was like a neon blue, the trees and everything. I said, man, it's really foggy here, and everything's flashing a neon blue. And then Ashtar, who was alignment with this woman, says to me, oh, that's Ashtar, Athena says, that is a big ship that's broken the electromagnetic field, and you're seeing the flashes of light and everything's neon blue because of the ship. You couldn't see the ship, but I knew at that point that something had happened. I couldn't go home. I got stuck in Wappinger Falls, New York, with all these people I just met. There must have been about 15 of them. And I got stuck there overnight. We were doing all these different weird things to me at the time that were weird. And the next day, I was interviewing. I finally went home. I had done my interview. I had everything on tape. And Ashtar says to me through this woman, this commander is going to do things with us. I said, I'm not a commander. I said, I don't even know what a commander is. I said, I'm just here to do a little interview because I was very interested in meeting Ashtar Athena. And I got stuck overnight. And then I got the recording and I left. And they said, "You're going to be doing a lot of work, Commander." I said, "I'm not a commander of anything." So after that, a whole week went by and I felt a complete emptiness in my system. Like everything I'd been taught on this planet was a lie at that point. Everything I believed in was a lie. Everything. You know, I've never told this story before. For some reason, they want me to tell it, so I am. Thank you for the gifts. And so when I finally left, I felt a complete emptiness, like I completely didn't know who I was anymore. I just like emptiness. Nothing mattered. Everything didn't matter anymore. Everything I believed in was out the door. Everything was considered a lie now. Everything in my consciousness was shifted. Everything that I thought was true was not. All right? So when that happened, after about a week or so, I became filled with knowledge, understanding. I can't really, well, I'm going to explain it. I became filled with a different consciousness. Like I woke up from sleeping. Does it make sense? I woke up from sleeping from all the lies that I've been taught in school, all the things that I saw on the tube TV sets. There were only a few channels to watch on TV back in the 60s and growing up as a kid. I realized everything was a lie. All right? Everything. So when I woke up, now I'm not talking about sleeping and waking up, I'm talking about waking up and realizing, wait a minute, now I know who I am. And this woman, Ashtar Athena, this woman from Venus I met, they had changed my life. This Ashtar and these other beings that she was in alignment with within the command had changed my, she wasn't a channeler. She had direct communications. She knew all the people from the 1960s that were Giant Rock. She knew these people. Tuella, who wrote her books about Ashtar, who was a direct contactee with the command. You know? Yes, I spiritually woke up. I woke up in such a way, they said, "Oh, you're going to be working with this Ashtar commander. You're going to be working with Ashtar Athena, with Ashtar." I said, "No, I'm not." I said, "I'm just here to do a little tape thing on my cassette." And as the more I said I wasn't going to do it, they said, "Commander, do you know what your name is? Do you?" Ashtar said to me, "Do you know what your name is? Not your Earth-based name. Do you know what your name is?" I said, "I don't know." He says, "Yes, you do. You know what your name is." So I said, "Okay, my name is Aleon. That's my name, Aleon." So I was talking to Ashtar, sitting across from me in this room with other people. During the day, after the thing, he asked me for my name. And I said, Aleon, A-L-E-O-N. Aleon's my name. That's my true name. And after that, when I woke up and going through that week of emptiness, I realized my name was Aleon. A realization came to me. They didn't give me any name. Ashtar never gave me anything in terms of a name. I said, "Oh, my name is Aleon." So I started to remember. I started to remember who I was. I guess before coming here, I knew who I was, but when I came here, I was star-seeded to an Earth family. And then I became aware of who I was. I closed it down for a number of years when I was a kid, but then I remembered who I was. And when I fully empowered myself to remember who I was, after that week in New York, nothing else mattered. Because now I was awakened. Now I knew that I was charged up. Now I knew who I was. And I didn't care what other people felt, was thinking. This is before people were more acceptable of people saying who they are. I already knew who I was after that. Everything around me that I saw on this planet, on TV, the way people lived, it all became different. How do I explain it? It all became different. I didn't look at the world the same way I did when I knew who I was. I didn't care what 3D people, were thinking or what their belief systems were anymore. I had a mission. Then I took on that mission. I would have Ashtar Athena come to the East Coast. We would do gatherings of 50 or 60 people here. They were from all over the world. They all came. I couldn't believe it. It was all new to me, all these people coming. All right? You're welcome, Anchor Ann. And they want me to continue sharing this story before I do any more interviews. I haven't done any interviews yet. I'm saying, wait a minute. So when I woke up, I became spiritually stronger in who I was. I had a sense of who I was, a sense of beingness, a confidence that came across my being. My whole body, I had a confidence. So then I started working with Ashtar. He would come with Athena within the body, so to speak, and we did gatherings. We did things that would be amazing. We did crazy things that you've never heard of. One day, and I'm going to share these stories because we have plenty of time for my interviews. One day, it was a blizzard. It was snowing out. It was crazy snowing out here in Connecticut. And it was in the 1990s. And we had Ashtar Athena, Commander Ashtar, alignment with Athena, and a woman named CmdrAleon, who was her cohort that would travel with her around the world. And so then Ashtar said, we're going to Long Island. I said, no, we're not. We're not going to go to Long Island. It's a blizzard. We all have to drive down. And down. So, then the other person says, oh, we'll take a ferry. Now, we're in Connecticut. We're going to take a ferry to Long Island. Why are we going to Long Island in a blizzard? We're going to Montauk Point in a blizzard. We're going to take a ferry to Montauk Point. Right? The story gets better. Ashtar is a person being, he's actually a star person. He's a being of light. He is a physical human being married to Athena. Where he comes from, Athena and Ashtar would be like me being married to my wife or you being married to whoever. Thank you for the hat. So I'm saying, I don't want to go driving down in my Volkswagen. I said, I'm not driving down to Long Island. I said, there's no way I'm doing that. So I got convinced we have to go to Montauk, to the base, the old Air Force base. And we have to do some work. It gets even better. So I said, okay, I guess we're going, but we're going to... So we didn't drive down into Long Island, New York, into New York State. We took a ferry. I said, are you kidding me? The ferries aren't running. Wouldn't you believe it? We get down to the ferry, right? And the ferry is running to Long Island in a blizzard. We get on the ferry with our car, go over to Long Island. It's the most surreal thing I've ever done in my whole life at that point. I said, am I really doing this? We got to the ferry, get over the ferry, over Long Island Sound. Thank you, Third Eye. And then we passed a diner. I think we stopped at it on the way back. So here's a diner, and here's this it's snow, there's snow everywhere. We get out to Montauk Point. I feel like I'm feeling like it's a fake little town. Because there's nobody on the street. The lights are lit up, a quaint little town at the end of Long Island, Montauk Point, right? We get to where we're passing the entrance to the old Air Force Base. And we went down there because we were supposed to do some mission work. I said, what are we going to do? We can't go on the base. Then we see that there's a gate there. And there's a guarding gate. The guard gate has got a lit up light and there's somebody in it. Now we're saying, well, why do they need a guard gate if it's no longer being used as an Air Force Base? Because it was turned into a state park. And then the fenced off area was the Air Force Base. They used to be the Air Force Base. And if you study the Montauk Project, Montauk, you'll see why we were there. So we went down there. I said, what are the three of us going to do that's going to change anything here? What are we doing here? But I didn't realize we did have a lot more power physically as individual beings, that we were empowered. Ashtar was with us in a way. We were there to switch the energy, to change the energy there. So much terrible things had been done there. And we were there to change the energies. Because there is a multi-level facility similar to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, even though it has a surface park. You might not know this. There is a multi-level facility underground at the end of Montauk, Long Island. You have the village, where there are people, real people that live there, but there is also other things going on there. At that time, even though the base was closed down and turned into a park, it's a multi-level facility. I don't know how they get inside underground, but that, at least at the time, and I think still now it is. So we went there to do some massive energy work. And then I said, okay. We kept driving into the village of Montauk. And when we got to the end of the village, you can do a turnaround. It was a turnaround at the very end, and then there's the ocean right there. It's all ocean. I'm saying, what a way to end this thing. Well, now there's nobody here. There's nobody in the street. There's snow on the ground. I feel like it's a fake city or town or whatever, a small little town. I said, now what are we going to do? So we did eventually stop at this diner, going back from the mission we did, and we took the ferry. We got to take a ferry back over to Connecticut. At first, I didn't want to do this. I said, there's no way I'm going to do this. This is the most craziest thing we've ever done. But somehow, on some level, we had to do this. And I agreed to drive us down to the ferry, which I thought wasn't running, and go over to Long Island. Okay? So part of my story here, I'm sharing now, is there's a lot more to me than you even know now. There's so many things to share, and we will get to some guest interviews. And I still think about what happened there that many people don't know about. The playing around with certain energies, what's called the Montauk Project. We did some real beautiful work to transfer the energies that had been there, played around with. We did some healing work energies. How many people would go on a ferry on a blizzard, what I call a blizzard, and go to do some mission work like that? That was mission work. Aren't we here to do mission work in a way? We all have something to do, really, right? Then we think about doing it and we don't do it, just think about it. But if we do it, after we do it, we feel we've accomplished something. We all have a mission, that's right. We've accomplished something, right? You all have a mission. This show is a mission. It is. It's actually a mission. I have to do this show. It's not that I don't want to do it. I have to do it. They know I have to do it. The people, my contacts, know this. I have to do it. Thank you so much. Wow, that's new. That's different. Thank you for that. Third Eye, thank you for that knight's helmet. That is interesting. And when we all come together from around the world on this show, I'm realizing I'm probably reaching more people than are in this room now. I don't know how that's working. I'm not going to try to figure it all out. Diane, thank you for being here. I'm just humbled in my service to humanity, this planet, my radio show, my TV show. I'll never have an ego. The ego I only have is to drive me to do more good things. That's my ego. Other people have the other ego, which is like inflated and, oh, wow, I'm famous. I don't care about that. I'm told it's going to happen. I don't care. If it happens, then I can reach more people. I hope that happens for that reason only, That's right. No ego. And as we all operate in no ego, we help others, It's really a very important thing. I'm here contemplating and thinking as I'm telling the story. So thank you, everybody, for your gifts. Really, truly. Thank you for the finger heart, Big Storm. Big Girl Storm. Thank you, Riley. And you're awesome too, man. You know, they wanted me to share this story. I didn't even know how I was going to start tonight. But we have a mission. And that when I found my name was CmdrAleon, and I told them I have no name. I'm not a commander. I'm not doing anything. This is when I was in New York State, starting from my journey when I went to New York in my car, got stuck overnight, and find out when Ashtar asked me, what's your name? And I say, oh, my name is Aleon. Like, I knew that? That's my name? But once I knew my name, once I remembered who I was, no one can tell me anything other than that. No one could step on me. No one could throw me off the bridge. No one can throw me off the tower. No one can throw me off the mountain because I didn't care anymore. You know, I would see those people and say to myself, they're very much confused. The people trying to throw me off. They're very much afraid. They don't understand anything. Thank you. Thank you. Who did that? Anchor and thank you. And when a person tries to throw you off or laugh at you, I'm going to tell you another story. A friend of ours had an angel shop. I mean, we went in one day. We didn't know who she was. Third eye, thank you. And this guy comes in, and the owner of the shop was very much off planet, and that's how we kind of met. And it was a beautiful thing. She didn't have the shop anymore. She did cakes, and she sold angel things, everything with angels. It was beautiful. So this person comes in. He was friends, and he liked the energy in the angel shop. When I told him who I was, he started laughing at me in my face. And when that happened, I turned and talked to him. I said, after I got done talking to him, he wasn't laughing anymore. I said, you come into an angel shop laughing about who I am when I explain it to you. And then he didn't have a laugh anymore. By the time I got done talking to him, he was all shaken up. I was talking very calmly, very firmly. And by the time I was done, he was rescinding what he had been doing, as if he was sorry. So basically, I'm sure he's awoken now to a much different state from years ago. But that face-to-face confrontation switched his reality to say, look, this is who I am. Why are you here in an angel shop laughing like this? You know? So I became empowered to confront people that way. And when you do in that way, in a very calm way, not confrontational, but in a way that says, this is who I am, who are you? This is who I am, who are you? Who are you? And I would say, who are you to laugh at me for who I am? He didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do because he thought maybe I would just shut down. But the owner was with the Ashtar Command. I come to find out, she was also very activated. So all kinds of people would be drawn to our angel shop. And another person tried to do that. He tried to look like really cool, like he was hip and really with it, but he wasn't. I talked to him, tried to help him out, but I read right through him. He wasn't at all. He was absolutely doing the opposite of what he said he was. It was like having a book cover on a person, take the cover off, and they show their true identity, right? The cover is not the same. The book is not the same thing as the cover is. Okay? That's why I'm able to read things like I am. I've been through many experiences in life. And doing the teachings I do and doing the radio show and doing the mission work and doing this TV show is so important to me, more important than anything. Oh, my family is the most important thing to me. My family that I love here, you know, that's first. This is important in a different way, and that's why I'm here to do what I do. That's why we all connect with each other. That's why you're all here. And that's why many more people are going to come here. Late, thank you. Because we're all connecting. We're all connecting with each other. I know I want people on here to get to be friends with each other, connect with each other in the same state, get to go out there, make contact with our space brothers. That's what I really want to see happen. If that happens for me, that'll be the most beautiful thing I can give to another person. Thank you so much. Thank you for the fire. Thank you, Third Eye, for the campfire. Scooby-Doo, I'm not human. I mean, I am human and I'm not human. How do I explain this? I come from another planet. I am in human form. This is like my space suit, my human suit. But I come from Mars. The Mars that you look at in your telescope, that's where I come from. The Mars that has many different opinions from Earth-based scientists, where I come from. On Mars, I have longer hair, I have a beard in that place where I come from. The planet, for new people here, has 10 to 15 million inhabitants on the planet. There is life on Mars, and it's not little amoebas or little pieces of stone moving on the ground. There are people living there in harmonious relationship with the Creator. Just because Mars is in this solar system doesn't mean it's in the same vibration as Earth. It's operating in a very high frequency. Thank you for the bears. Oh my gosh. That is amazing. Who sent me that? Dancing Bears. Levik, thank you for the dancing bears, man. That's amazing. Oh my goodness. You folks are beautiful, man. You are. You are beautiful, all of you. You know? It looks like, Layla, like a desert, but that's because the reverse is on Mars what is on Earth. All the waterways, the oceans, the seas, everything is below Mars, although there are parts of Mars that the land rover has not shown you, where there's now vegetation growing. Deborah, thank you. Vegetation growing. There's some structures on a different part of Mars on the surface. And there are people that can walk on the surface that live there. In various parts of Mars, people will be walking on the surface of the planet. Just like people here would walk in a park or go on a mountain and a hike. There are people on Mars that do go on the surface. But it's not a desert. There's also a polar cap on Mars, just like on Earth. It does lie on the ground. Many millions and millions of years ago, the Martian, thank you so much, the Martian population, not so much population, but scientists were working with some energy that they didn't mean to misuse it, but it had a chain reaction of events which caused the Martians to have to go to Plan B, and they had structures underground to go to, and they did. So for millions of years, Mars had a problem with the surface energy of the oxygen. The oxygen was affected. But millions and millions and millions of millions and millions of years later, everything has changed. The Martians had completely figured out what they did was a mistake. They focused more on the totality of their society of people, and the Martians learned not to use energy that would be disruptive to the planet. And the reason why Mars is still a whole planet is because they knew how to figure out the corrections they made a mistake on. Unlike on Earth, when Earth scientists created things that destroy things, they've never been able on this planet to figure out how to not create it. They keep creating it. Hence, your nuclear bombs, your radioactive materials. Your scientists here keep creating stuff like that, which has disrupted the pattern of energy on your planet. We didn't do the C5 yet, Riley. We're going to do that next weekend. And we're going to definitely get together on the phone with people here in Connecticut about that. And we will get that together. We've had some very unsettled weather this weekend. So hopefully next weekend it'll be clear as a bell. I pray that somehow that happens. Little Lame, thank you for the hat. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate all the gifts, folks. You guys are just amazing. Everyone here. Even those who can't give a gift, you're amazing. Just the fact that you're here, you're amazing. Third Eye, thank you for the roses. Thank you so much. So I'm kind of cosmically doing a storytelling to the beginning of this show. And the command wanted me to share this with you, so I am. Thank you. Happy. Well, I've never seen anything like that. Use a 688. How do you know you're from Mars? Because when I came here, I didn't know I was from Mars. As a baby, I couldn't speak. Babies don't speak. Well, maybe. As I got older, when I was in the 1960s as a kid, for no reason whatsoever, as I was playing stickball with my friends in a suburban neighborhood, I blurted out, "Oh, I'm from Mars." Something like that. Whatever a kid would say, like a preteen would say to somebody else. And they were like, not angry. They were like angry. They were so angry when I said I'm from Mars. Okay? And they're probably wondering, what is going on here? He's saying he's from Mars. And then I shut down. I basically went quiet. I didn't know why I had said that to them. But as I got older and became awakened through the experiences with Ashtar later on as an adult, and all those things happened, and all the sightings I've had since a kid, and the contact experiences I had back in the 60s with the space people, that changed my life. I tried to come up with a logical explanation for my life, and it changed my life. I could never be lying to myself. It would be a lie to myself to not say where I'm from. It would be a lie to other people to not come out of the closet and be who I am. I'd be lying to myself and to the whole world. And I said, I can't do that. That's not my nature. I can't lie about where I come from. And so I decided I'm going to be the strongest spiritual being, love myself first and love others second. I'm going to be as strong as I can be coming out of the closet, and I can care less whether somebody thinks I'm crazy or whatever. I don't care. As I got older, I just said, I don't care. I'm here to kick butt. I'm here to shake things up. When I got to that point, when I finally decided I was going to shake things up, I would take somebody who's a skeptic and shake them right up. I didn't care. I can go into a skeptic's face, stand face to face with them. By the time I got done with them, they wouldn't know what left, right, or up or down was, because I didn't care. Because everything I do is with love. I have to shake things up. I have to rattle people up. I have to break the matrix. That's what I'm here to do. If I don't do that, then I might as well sit in the corner watching ABC News or something. I'm not doing it. Never going to do that. So even on this show, I tell people, the skeptics, the moderators are great. If the trolls come in here, they better beware that they're coming into a place, a TV show, where we're going to shake things up, where we're going to have people on speaking their truth. People that are going to be guests on my show, they're going to talk about their UFO sightings. They're going to talk about disclosure. They're going to talk about their visitations. And I love people's stories. It's like opening another chapter of the show here. Every chapter that someone tells me a story is a new chapter of information, and maybe some stories are more wilder than others or stranger to other people, but they're still their stories. And when people tell their stories, I honor them. Okay? Thank you. I honor people's stories because that's what a talk show is supposed to do. We're not supposed to hit people over the head, clobber them down and say, ha, 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 thanks for coming on here. Now I can beat you up. If that's what you want to do, it's not happening here. Not on this show. Ever. So I think, let me see what's going on here. She wanted to come on before. She had something she wanted to share. And I'm trying to see if she's still here. We're going to do some interviews now. So how many people want to come on and share their stories? Nebula left. I'm going to have to bring Nebula back. Let me see if I can get Nebula back here. We want to have her on. I'll see if we can get Nebula here. Unless she went live. Let's see here. We'll get Nebula here somehow. Here we go. We're going to get Nebula here in a second. Come on live. All right, I just invited Nebula back. Hopefully she'll get my message, and we'll have her on here. We want to welcome everybody to the show here. This is Encounters, the late night UFO talk show. So if Nebula comes back in here, we're going to put her on first. So we'll see if she comes back on here, and we'll get her on. Medell says, yes, let's disrupt. Yes, we will. Disrupt the whole planet and wake everybody up. Right here on Encounters. And we'll have you on, Riley, too. Brandon says, I'm sort of new. I'm having a strong pull to Thor and the Emerald Tablets. So I'm confused. Well, that would not be, I don't know much about that because I'm not from this planet. I'm not sure how to help you with that at the moment. Nebula, if you're still out there, come on in. We're waiting for Nebula to come back. And also, like I said, we'll bring Riley in as well soon. I want people who want to share their stories to come on here. So now what's happening is, if you want to come on here, you don't have 1,000 people. I think you have 600 or 700 people, maybe 500. I can get you on here on audio without the video or without the screen. Renee, one of our other moderators, is here. Skipper Grace is here. I think Chesnos is here. We have great moderators. So if you have a story to tell, if you never come out of the closet about who you are from other planets, we'd love to hear your stories. I'm CmdrAleon, your host. So I got my whole thing out there for you that I've not told in complete history here. But you're now hearing from the host. And maybe that story has helped other people say, you know what? I'm going to be who I am. I'm going to be that person who I am. I'm going to be the awakened person who I am. You know? 4,000-year-old artifacts found with spaceman carvings. Interesting. And we'll have you on in a little bit, Riley. We're going to definitely do that. I recently done, not sure I think I am from a lot of places. Well, Mac, eventually through meditation, you'll find out where you're from. So I guide people to meditate, center on your higher self, and ask your higher self, where am I from? This way, don't think about where you're from. Ask yourself, where am I from? Your mind's going to keep you thinking and not get you to get to that point. But if you ask your higher self where you're from, you will get the answer. It's always right there. Pineal Gland says 1990 experience. Let's see here. Let's take a look at this. And I'm going to follow you. I think it's Pineal Pearl. Excuse me. She has 44 followers. Let's certainly follow her and get her up there. She had an experience in 1990 in Moreno Valley. Interesting. I'm reading people's stories. Please share and like. We want to get up to over 50,000 likes before 12:30. We might go to 1 o'clock at the latest. So we'll see. I know there's a lot of people that are going to want to be interviewed here. I have to step away for a moment, Commander. I'll be right back. No worries. And just to let people know, this show is being recorded. So if anybody misses the show, it'll be on my YouTube channel. At some point over the weekend, we'll be transferring it over to YouTube. All the shows are now being recorded. So if you miss any of the shows, you can watch it on my YouTube channel, Ashtar Command Spaceship News. And it is Friday, that's true. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? So we're going to interview people. I want to get some new folks in, and then we'll get our regular people that like to come on live. I guarantee it. Last night we weren't on, but we were on this morning. We did because we weren't on last night. We went on this morning, and we did that show, and that show is also now on my YouTube channel. If you missed it, you'll be able to watch yesterday or this morning's show on YouTube. Shelley says, I'm Arcturian, Lyran, Lemurian. I have lived on Mars and Venus. I'm remembering more every day. Beautiful. And I think we're going to see here. We're going to actually bring Levik. We can actually bring you on audio. Levik, we're bringing you on, brother. You got enough numbers there to go on live. I don't think yet for the video. I wanted to have Levik on here forever, man.
Hey, how's it going, CmdrAleon?
This is the first time I think TikTok has changed some of their. Let me see here. Can I get you on the? Yeah. So you can do audio now. When you get to 1,000, you can switch on the camera. So this is really good stuff. So when you have 600 people, folks, on TikTok, you can now go live with me. If you have 700 or 600 people and you have a story to tell, you can now come. I've been wanting to get Levik on here forever. Man, you're so close. Everybody follow Levik, and we need to get him another 300 people on here as he comes on here. Always follow him. We'll get him up to 1,000. But welcome to the show, and I know you have a lot of stories to tell. I'm pretty sure of it. So let's go into it.
Yeah, well, I've kind of expanded a lot of different knowledge and variable kind of stuff from every outlet, and oh man, I'm so gratified by this TikTok as well because there's so many things that I've learned here that I kind of took take for granted, and and just honestly, I've been relishing a lot of this stuff because I fell out is what happened to me is a lot of the stuff that I've learned along the years, yes, I've read about it. Like, I've read some of the stuff in Barbara Marciniak's book, and it's Earth, the Keys to the Living Library, I believe it is, or something along those lines.
Mm,
And
yeah.
then, and then just so many things from like scientific references, not necessarily secular or popular mainstream stuff, but just and so yeah, I've had contact experiences, just growing up in my early 20s, which over 12, 13, I mean, well over 10 years ago, I had this one extraordinary encounter where, um, so I was trying to just take my dog out for a walk, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm surprised because I take my dog out daily for years. Like I really have I pontificate on every detail of my life. Like I'm not like high geared thinking about everything, but
Right.
again at that time I was delving in so many directions, not really unfocused, but very conspiracy, and then as well as very spiritual, but and so I'm walking one day, right? And I'm coming around the corner and it's about like 300, like maybe like few hundred feet radius, and
Yeah.
it's like a few blocks. And I'm coming across on one side and I see the houses and the plants and the tree and the everything around me, and I'm basically on the grass because that's where my dog wanted to walk along the grass. And
Yeah.
as I go on there and I'm moving, I get starstruck by a giant blue organic UFO.
Hmm.
Like the ones that like kind of like the ones in Cocoon, or
Yeah.
but it was radiating blue in
Wow.
a really bright, like, yeah, and I could channel that thought was definitely Pleiadian because I was focusing on that all the
Yeah.
time. And months before that, maybe weeks or I'm not sure, I would peer out of my window, and I would always rearrange my room, but I always focused on my window, and I realized where your power is through that window because that's where your mind, and then you imagine outside sometimes. Well, that's what I was doing, I would meditate
Yeah.
during those years. I was really active, and I would look out at night and I would just stare out at the sky and the stars, and I'd notice specifically note like specific stars, and there was the one star, and I looked at it to a certain long time, to a certain extent, to where I grasped its energy. I basically channeled the fact that it was it was the one star that pointed out to me among the many stars, and I
Yeah.
focused on it, and I was like, that is the star that I where I'm from. That is the one that I know I have my calling is from. And and the next day I turn on this app, it's called Sky Maps, and I turn it on and I look at the stars because you could chart the stars and they're all listed down in the app when you just point your phone. And I'm looking
Hmm.
and I pointed directly at that star, and that star's been there for a couple of weeks. And
Yeah.
they definitely they move around, and I've noticed it shifting.
That's
I
right.
used to stargaze a lot, and that next day I look at my sky maps and I point at it, and it's the constellation of Lyra. So
Wow.
yeah, so
That's amazing, man.
yeah, that drew in me. It really it inspired me, really. That was the first time, and that was before the actual contact experience. So
Wow. Now, when you
yeah.
had the contact experience, we're interviewing Levik, who I am so excited to have here. You wouldn't believe it. When you had that contact, did you physically meet the beings that you had visually seen in that bluish ship?
No, no, I never. You know what? I can say, yeah, I've kind of visualized them.
Yeah,
But I haven't really driven deeper into that and really, grinded into that and really pontificated in that area as enough. What
mm,
I've expanded spiritually. I did yoga for 5 years. I've
mm,
always been devout in a Christian mentality, or at least
hmm,
Christ love, Krishna consciousness, that whole. But then I realized that, like, because I've studied history and science, those are my top
yeah,
criteria, and
mm,
I've studied a good amount of my Earth Chronicle series of Sumerian cosmogony and history, and
wow,
yeah, and then I studied a little bit of the Bhagavad Gita. I read the spiritual book of the Hindus, and I've read a good amount of the Bible, but I always kind of picked and choose what I wanted. But I've read
right,
William
right,
Bramley's The Gods of Eden, and I've gotten like a diverse, various degree of knowledge just from all the inherent kind of knowledge that comes from that generation that stems from the Apocrypha, the Dead Sea Scrolls, um,
yeah.
those entailings. Yeah, so been very spiritual, but I've approached it very historically minded. I don't know. I'm not like all in like deep into the extraterrestrial as much as I should be, really. But
Your deepness is in the fact that your story that you tell is, which is beautiful, about the blue ship, your connections with the Lyrians.
yeah.
You're already there. You are part of that, obviously. Do you realize that you're part of that now? And did you realize that at all after all that happened?
I did realize that actually. What's fascinating is during those times I was passing around that book because it also
Hmm.
takes mention and it explains thoroughly. Barbara Marciniak explains that um,
Hmm.
some of these tools can be procured and let for letting people to learn and to help them, even if it's not something that they want to follow particularly. They will still express themselves and learn how to envision themselves in light and call for a higher nature, whatever you want to make it, whatever you want to believe it to be. But of course, it is emphasized towards the Pleiadians. Yeah,
Right.
the book's called Earth, and it's called The
Yeah.
Pleiadian Keys to the Living Library. That book,
Is that is that Barbara Messiniak?
yes.
Oh, she's been around for years. I know of her. That she's one of the books I read many years ago, amongst many other people. Yes, she's very connected with the Palladians.
Yeah, so that opened my eyes. That was the one book I've always been inspired by that, and I learned because there's a lot of good sprawled out different kinds of library and bookstores and bookshops out here that are really open-minded and valued in California here in Los Angeles, and
Yeah.
I visited a great many of them. Too bad some of them haven't stuck in through too long. there's been one or two that financial crisis and stuff, but actually
Yeah.
some of the older books, there's one called Alexandria, the Library of Alexandria the Second, and that's in Pasadena, and it's so vast. And then I've also just learned online, and also learning Native American stuff, and as well as practicing some of their traditions, reading about some certain autobiographies, and partaking with actually doing some small time ritual stuff with actual Native American. So, but
You know
but
what? Do you know of you're in the LA area, correct?
yes.
There's a group called they're called the Arcturians, not the Arcturians. It's called the Ethusia Society. There was a man who was a contactee who had this group still exists. They're in Hollywood, I think, and it's the Ethusia Society. And maybe I'm not pronouncing it right, but they were one of the original contactee groups from the '60s, and his name
Wow.
was George King. He's no longer around. He would have been really way older now, but
Uh-huh.
he was from another planet. If you watch any YouTube videos about George King, I think it's called the Thusia Society. They exist, and I interviewed a gentleman, a younger man, who wrote a book about the space people. They're a very interesting group, and they are in the LA area. I think they're in Hollywood.
That's
The reason I'm bringing that up because
that.
you're from LA area.
Yeah. Well, I find it very ravishing because this whole subject is not exactly a broadened. It's not broadened to the whole scope of the mainstream or modern eye. But there's just so many developments and eyewitness stuff, as well as just people who have just written about it and have told about it from thousands of years. I mean, just the amount of information and knowledge that has been reached out, and it's not so hard to really practice the traditions, and if you wanted to do some like ritual chanting and stuff like that actually elevates your energy. And I noticed, like, even though I didn't necessarily see, because actually that blue spaceship that I saw, I saw it
Yeah,
twice. I saw it one
yeah.
time before I actually got to see it in broad daylight, where that was that pinnacle breadth of experience, which literally no more than 300 feet in the sky, wobbling
Oh my
in one
God.
single area. But yeah, I saw it before that, maybe a week or a number of days before that, and I saw it literally in front of my house, like over a walled area. They have an auction. It's a really big industry, and so it's open space. And I just looked out. You can't really see, but over that certain mount at that top,
Yeah.
it's just broad sky, open sky. And I remember coming home one day, and I turned around. For some reason, it just made me turn around. And I'm like looking, and then I saw it, and I'm like, whoa, like that. It literally electrified me, like my whole body.
Electrified you. When you turned around, Levik, even though you didn't physically see the beings on that ship, I get the feeling that they actually were watching you, and they obviously got your attention. What was the energy feeling when you saw this ship, this bluish ship? What did you feel from that?
I could
But did
say
you
it
have
was
any feeling?
energizing, invigorating. What it was actually a confirmation. So in my mind, I wasn't particularly thinking about anything. And I've done a lot of media arts and art, and I'm actually a drummer, so I'm very
Oh,
musically
really?
inclined. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I would use these things. I was in, a heavy metal band back in the day in the early 2000s. I also played bongo and tambourine for psychedelic rock bands, like just here in the whole Los Angeles and Valley community, where, some of the old people from the Doors and Jimi Hendrix, like roadies, different people from all over came, and they used to live out here in, the high hills up in Hollywood. And North Hollywood was a really a getaway place for a lot of these people. But and I
Wow.
realized, yeah, yeah. So and I kind of expanded my consciousness because I developed myself. I realized I wanted to span out, and actually my first incentive was I wasn't necessarily spiritual or anything. But when I turned 16 and 17, I kind of wanted to be a geologist, And then so what I did was I rode and I just rode my bike and I traversed the entire, basically the whole valley and all around different areas. And I collected rocks. So I have a big rock collection and I'm really big on mineralogy and all that. So,
Wow.
yeah, but so in that expanse of learning and exploring, I got to tap into that, and I got to meet some friends, and then so that was my story. Is just like
Yeah.
musically inclined, but also just on my own road,
Yeah.
traveling, and then I happened to stumble upon all this. Really, it's funny.
Well, you're an amazing person too, man. It's like, in your life journeys, you have read so many different books. My friend Athena, she lives in LA, Astro Athena, and she is where you are. And you've journeyed and you're still journeying in your life, obviously, but you have a very beautiful way of sharing all these different things. And you look at things in a more expansive view. You don't look at one book, you look at many books, you look at many experiences that help you open your consciousness. And so as I read your energy, you're just here to also bust the matrix. You're here to bring a lot of love to people. You have a lot of love in your heart, and I know that. And that's, I think, why also the bluest ship with the beings on it, you're connected with them, and I think you shall see that ship again. I tell people when I hear these stories, I get information. You've seen me on here give people information on my show. You've been here a lot, so you know
Yeah.
my show, and I see for you, if you focus in, I know you can focus more than anything else. If you say, the beings on the blue ship that came to me that time, I see you. I see, and if you say, I see you, I send my love to you. I wish to see you again. Can we connect with each other? Can we meet with each other? Can we see each other? So the next step on that journey, if you wish, that's up to you, is to physically make contact with them. And nothing to be, I know you have no fear. I know there's only love in your heart. So they are very loving as well, as you already know. I think your next thing will be connecting with them on some physical level. That's what
Wow.
I'm getting.
Wow.
Yeah, for
Okay.
you.
I can't believe that because, of course I've been a skeptic, but this actually isn't necessarily, it's not really my first UFO experience. I could say I've had a few, but this one was really impactful. Like, I've seen a few things growing up, and I have some understanding of the unknown, and I've always been kind of fascinated by it. Um, but then I'm not so inclined. I think I do want to be. I want to be more musically inclined. I've been abroad and I've traveled and I've seen a lot of things, to be honest, and I've experienced musically a lot of
Hmm.
various very many things. But um yeah, like the whole meditation and my yoga, renunciation, that whole inclination was, I think it was a door for me. But as far as UFOs are concerned, I'm kind of, I'm not reading anything right now, but I always take ideas and I am sending them out there. I kind of meditate sometimes, and that I actually just bought a bike so I could feel like I'm kind of living my dream again, doing what I like to do again. So
Yeah, well, they keep telling me, Ash, that my connection, Kadar Manka, he's telling me to tell you that you are able to communicate with these beings on the blue ship. He's saying to me that if you are willing to step into that reality, they're waiting for you to communicate. They've been waiting for you for years in
wow,
Earth years. They've been waiting for you to take the step. What they were doing is, he's telling me, they appeared to you those times to tell you, we love you, we're here. When you're ready to talk and communicate with us, we will be back and we can physically meet somewhere in a remote area, and they will actually physically come out of their ship. So he's telling me they're physically able to leave their ship and you will meet them at some point. I don't have a specific date or time. He's just giving me all this information that's downloading to me telepathically for you. He's saying you will have contact with these beings. He says they are about 8 to 9 feet tall. They look very beautiful, and you will have contact with them. He says you need to just allow yourself the time when you're ready. He says no pressure. He says he wants you to know that when you make the contact with them, he's saying that you will have that meeting place where there'll be a place where you and them will meet in a remote location. I don't know where that is. You're in California. I suspect there's a lot of remote locations, and you'll be guided to that location. You will see their ship, and you will follow it, and they will take you to a space or a place where they will land their craft, and they will come out of their ship, and you will meet. That's what he tells me.
That's incredible, Commander. Wow. Oh man, that's a
I
breathful,
never
really.
know anything. I know nothing. I just like feeling this thing. I have to tell. If I don't tell you, he's going to be on my case for the next 20 days. I'm
Dang,
telling
that's
you, it's
insane.
going to happen.
Yeah, what it is I sometimes am not serious enough. I have focus, but I waver, and then I'm reading a lot of sci-fi these days, and I'm trying to grow out of just the same basic lifestyle, banal lifestyle, and I'm trying to expand my consciousness, but also like I'm really symbolic and image oriented, and a lot of my friends are. They've always admonished my ideas and beliefs and stuff like that. But the thing is, it's like I rather be on a not same beaten path, and
Right? You're not.
and
You're not at all.
but if I want to continue doing that, shouldn't I maybe join like a UFO group or like because I
Well,
actually I've been to Conscious Life Expo
yeah,
and in California it happens once a year and I've met George Norrie and and I always listen in and tune in on the Coast to Coast radio talk show and
yeah.
I've actually tried to call in once but it it kind of to my dismay I guess my UFO story that I wanted to tell and the certain things that I wanted to explain actually it was just a funny mishap. My friend, I used my friend's phone, and because my I was using my phone to use the my app that I pay, for my subscription, so I could hear in, and so I had my phone tune into the radio while I called with
Hmm.
my friend's phone online, and I was tapped in, and I got in, and I was waiting, and I was about to be the next person to be answered to, and his phone died. Oh, yeah. So I don't know if I was supposed to say that word, right? But
Oh, that
Allah.
don't. But you know what? It's good to have a community, in a sense, it's really good to have a community. But this journey with the people from that ship, he
Yeah.
keeps telling me that's going to be a solo journey. That connection, they're connected with you. He said, Kadar Manka, who I'm communicating with right now, telepathically is saying, and keeps telling me, this is what he does. He says, tell him that he needs to make this contact. I said, okay, I will put it in earth-based words. He's saying you have to make this contact when you're ready. It'll
Well,
be, I don't know why the desert's coming into it. You're surrounded by desert out in LA somewhere.
yes, I'm
Desert?
in the valley, in the San Fernando Valley. It's a really broad, high elevated, a valley, but it
Yeah,
is even as a valley, it's considered high, but it's very beautiful the amount of minerals
yeah,
out. So it's
yeah.
not
He's
that dry,
saying,
but it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's saying to you, Levik, desert. He keeps using the word desert. You're somewhere near you're in a desert area. You can go out in an area and there's nothing there, correct?
I can. That's really wild that you're saying that because I have a close friend that I visit every now and then, and he does live really far into the desert.
Yes. You're supposed to go into the desert, he says. He says he must go into the desert. He's saying to me, when you go into the desert one night, you can go with a friend. If you don't want to be alone, go with a friend, of course. He says, most definitely go with a friend, and they will meet you, and your friend has to be not afraid. You have to make sure your friend that comes with you has no fear. He's saying, no fear, only
Okay.
love.
Okay, Commander. Thank you. I truly appreciate your advice and you're offering me with all these gifts and blessings. Thanks so much, man.
Man, I love you, man. You have blessed my show with so many gifts. And I'm so happy to verbally be able to communicate with you on the show. And that's Levik, folks. Give him a lot of love. He's a beautiful soul, and you really are also uh, a um, a buster of the limitations of this planet. But your contact, he keeps saying, "Okay, I do hear you." you know, Kadarmak is saying, he loves you too. He says, "No fear. The ship lands in the desert. They will meet. The ship lands in the desert. They will meet. The ship lands in the desert. They will meet." It's almost like a mantra he's saying to me. The ship lands in the desert. They will meet. I get that.
That's an
Maybe that
unbelievable.
I can't make this stuff up. I have to tell you.
Yeah. I'm surprised because none of my friends are as open to this as I am. A lot of them they're really big on certain things, and they're not necessarily closed-minded. I think they're really valuing a lot of open-minded things, but but also any one person who is so much inclined in any way doesn't matter. It just takes a little bit of open-mindedness, conscious awareness, and it's benevolent. That's the kind of energy and vibration that you're channeling, and you're supposed to really send that out there.
Yeah,
But also,
yeah,
it's funny because when you're saying desert, there's a lot of things out there that I've experienced. I've seen countless shooting stars
mm,
throughout every day, just every day
yeah.
being there. And then aside from that, I've actually seen a UFO out there, and a
What?
pretty
No, let's ask you about that. The UFO in the desert. What year was it, and what did you see?
okay. It's probably like 2009, 2010. Again with my friends. On a whole different level. I was not expecting it. I didn't even we weren't thinking about it because we're really a different kind of you know um you know people of why we have a different wide various kind of interests, a lot of us.
Yeah,
And when I went out there, I went with my friend and I was actually looking out at the telescope. Um and and it's funny because I was like I think I told my friend, like, I'm just looking out. I don't even need to look at the telescope because I could pretty much see everything out, right? And as
yeah,
I'm saying that, I see a UFO. My friend points to it, and we look, and I see it. I mean, it's pretty far, thousands of feet, I'm sure, but it was pretty clear to see because it's the desert. There's nothing there, and this thing was the same as you could ever consider, like the way that it would all ever look, like just like a kind of like a bowl shaped, upside down saucer. And what I saw was radioactive decay being emitted from the bottom of it in rainbow colors, just
yeah,
coming off of it. Pinks, orange, green, blue, purple. They're just I could see it like it was the radiation coming off of a car, but I could see that it was above, way above the ground. And during night, you don't normally see that. There weren't any mountains in any purview that might necessarily block or, eschew the view. And really amazing. Just seeing it was unmistakable. It was amazing to me, Commander.
Oh wow.
But
And I appreciate, so you did have this other story. So you've had other experiences, and the most beautiful thing is being able to say, I can open up about my experiences here and share them. And I think, look at how many people love you, what you're saying. 80 things there in your screen. Their stories are beautiful, and that's what I love about what you do, brother. Is like you're going to have your contact experience. When we talk about the contact experiences coming in the next few years, yours is going to be coming before 2027. Your experience with this in the desert is where you're going to meet these people from the Lyran star system. They're going to land a bluish ship in the desert where you are, and you're going to meet them there. That's what I'm being told.
oh wow. Okay, well, I'll keep my
Do you,
eyes to the
do you
sky.
understand that? If you just
Let's
sit for
do
still
that.
for a second and hear that word, listen to your higher self for a moment. And what are you getting from yourself right now? If you just listen to yourself, what do you hear?
Um, I could hear that it's the natural way. I feel like um, it makes sense. I feel like yes, it's true, and I'm willing to be open to it. I guess I'm just not fully open to it to be, you know, tuned to it that much. But I
Yeah,
am.
yeah,
Um,
you are.
what is your take on like star systems outside of like particularly like Orion and Sirius, like that like Procyon B. They say that there's ETs from there, Sirius B obviously, and then
Yeah,
Altair system, which is apparently they're really ancient. There are brothers too, right? And
yeah.
there's
There,
so many people.
there
Yeah.
are actually the way I would put it in general terms, because there's so many different beings throughout the multiverse, and I say multiverse because there's many different levels of consciousness out there. Is that yes, there are so many different civilizations that we on Earth are going to meet when contact happens. When I say going to meet means we haven't met them yet. Maybe you have met them. Some of you here have met your connections outside of Earth who are contactees. You have been taken to their planets in your sleeping state. You've gone into a state of leaving your body, and that's how you meet them. I talked about this one show. When you go into the cosmic state of what you call a dream, that's where they meet you because that is an easy place to meet. Then when you wake up, you remember, I had a dream that I met the so and so beings on a ship. Well, you did. You basically went to sleep, what you call your human body went to sleep, but your physical light body or your inner body, your inner being went out of body and met those space people. And that's why you remember that in the dream. So there's what you call the regular dream, which is just a dream. Then there's a second level, which is a dream that's kind of a little bit real. And then the dream that's not a dream. So the dream becomes the reality and the reality becomes the dream. It switches. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. That's a wild expression. Like, it's true. And actually, all religions say it. And I've actually practiced that. I've tried regressive trance therapy. Well, not fully, not like I actually intended to keep practicing it like a therapy, really, actually. But it was more of a awakening, a tentative knowledge and practice. Tried to use a technique where I imagine I'm in an elevator or any moving area in a specific space, but it has bounds. So I'm aware that I'm moving in a specific object, and I'm moving up while I realize below me something. The visualization of that it's it's hypnotic. So there's techniques for that where you imagine yourself going up and you visualize movement going down. And when you do that, and you should most generally you should visualize yourself going up and not down, because
Mm.
it just makes more sense and it's more recommended to do that. But by doing that, you trick the brain into basically shutting down or going into it's more of like a theta brainwave. And I've tried a lot
Yeah.
of brain binaural healing and transformative like psychic things, and I've actually initiated some remote viewing myself. But I realize it's a really deep tradition, and method, and I actually wanted to learn it more, but then I kind of veered into various directions, and
Yeah.
I will say that guy that comes on here, that galactic mastery guy,
Yes.
he's really uplifting. He's really positive. He has a lot of enlightening. He's really good and strong with it. I think to a certain degree, it's like you're kept down by certain limitations or prejudices or preconceived notions, whether or not you are eating healthy, whether or not your environment is safe or adequate. I feel like it's good to have your surroundings and embody that kind of spiritual lifestyle. And it takes a lot of people to really accept that and understand that. I think, and I've actually done telekinesis myself, Commander. So I'm
Oh, you have? Okay.
yeah, I've been steeped into a lot of this stuff. Like I said, I did yoga for 5 years, and but but also like the amount of knowledge out there is irrelevant compared to like some of the traditional old, like, ecumenical knowledge or theological traditions. I feel like are really the truth. That's why I don't derive or concern myself with one thing, but I definitely agree and admonish specific. Like I do respect and appreciate anybody who's from any religion, and I don't bash them. And I do really love, like, you know, Christian theology, but I also know that
Yeah,
there's certain things that aren't told to us. So I think we're supposed to kind of read into it in our own way. Like my explorations in theology were not really, uh you know uh I really don't like Freemasonry. I'm not
yeah,
very I understand its place and where it came from and where it's going. Well, I don't understand entirely where it's going, but I do know it's had a place in this world, and it's had, and I just, I've read a little bit of that, let me just say, but
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
really into it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Just
No,
aware of it.
I completely get it. And and you have to do things that feel comfortable to you, as we all have in our journeys. My life journey, having my contacts in the '60s and going into the closet, as I talked earlier, and then coming as I got older and becoming more conscious of my adult life, who I was able to explore so many different things. And even in this form now, knowing that I'm from Mars, knowing that I'm a telepathic communicator, knowing that my mission is to do this kind of stuff. My workshops, I multitask on many cosmic levels, as you do, in reading so many books that you've read that probably many other people have not explored. So you are ahead of the ball game in exploring those things, and that's beautiful. We also have Anook with us, Levik. Anook's been on here before,
Hi,
and I
Anouk.
think that down the rabbit hole, my co-host, I think he's in here. Is down the rabbit hole in here tonight? I made sure I sent him a message, and I think he might have been busy doing other things this evening, but hopefully he's in there down the rabbit hole somewhere. I thought I saw him. Anook, welcome to the show, and we have Levik here. Riley wants to come up, and we're going to stay on till about 1 in the morning. So on the East Coast here, so this way we'll have time to bring in some people here. Nook, welcome to the show. Good morning. It is 12:18 a.m. in the morning on the East Coast. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Commander. I wanted to share something with you. Me and Rory and Shauna do something called Short Tall. As you know, Rabbit Hole told you that he scrubbed it for CGI, checked it. He couldn't find any falls in it because there's nothing that isn't. But I was going to show it on our show because we're doing two now. Usually we do one at 5 and one at midnight. But I will come on your show because I love you and I love what you're doing and the ambassador of light you are. And I will share it on your show first, even before ours, live for the first time on TikTok. It's been on Facebook and we've done it publicly and we've done it on the news once before, but we've never done it on TikTok. So we did it on like one of the videos, but not live.
Hmm.
But if you'd like that shared on your show, we could get together with you and set that up, and you can see them grow short tall right on your show. First time I'm giving it to you exclusively as a, I just want to help you build your show, and I want people to see that you have real guests that can do real, unbelievable things. And when we do short tall, it's remarkable.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. I know you. We did it briefly one night when we first interviewed you, Anook. And Anook is from the Andromedan star system, and he communicates directly in alignment with the physical body of the human that he's speaking through. So Nook might call it channeling in this case, but basically it's an alignment of frequency, essentially, for Earth humans that don't understand that. I do, because I work in a certain frequency telepathically, and
It
when
is. That's what it is, Commander. It's a frequency alignment. But for everyone else, everyone's used to hearing it called channeling, so that's why I use it. Because not
yeah.
everybody can understand what you do.
Right, but now you can also say frequency alignment, Anook, because I've used that word on this show many times, my brother.
Ah,
And
no problem.
we have Levik here. Levik is going to connect very much in the desert with the Lyrian people soon.
I
Kadar
hope
Maka
so.
wants me to. Well, you will. Kadar Maka is making sure I tell you this from the
Um,
astrogalactic level. He's saying that make sure he doesn't forget to do this. And Kadar Maka loves me so much, and I love my space brothers. And he just wants you to know that when you go out there, he says you will be well protected by unseen beings that will be with you when you make contact. So you have nothing to worry about when you go into the desert. He says nothing to worry about.
well, thank you. I guess there's nothing much else to say except that's a overwhelming information knowledge. I must really take it into my account. Take it really into consideration, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what he wants you to do. Normally when I have guests on, I can read people's, in terms of where they come from. In your case, he's saying the beings are waiting for you to make contact. He says they're waiting for you. They love you so much. They're waiting for you to make the contact. So all I am is the communicator of the information, the facilitator of information, and I'm just going to leave it up to you, brother. That's something, for you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
man. God bless.
Hey,
I
Levik,
appreciate you guys. Yeah.
do yourself a favor. Don't hope. Don't wonder. Don't think that it might not happen or it could not happen. It will happen. Exactly as the commander said it. I'm behind it 100%. I feel very strongly that this is in alignment. I can see it in your macabric field. I would definitely venture into it because it's definitely where you need to go. He's right. I can feel it extremely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Anu. I, I would be more allowing in this app, and I would express myself fully and more freely. But the problem with this thing is, I know there's a lot of hands and people's in their dealings with this app. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily nefarious or they're not doing necessarily the worst things, right? But what I had to experience is like all I was emphasizing and my main point and implication for this app was just to express health conscious stuff, health
Yeah.
knowledge and facts, and that's
Yeah.
my only goal that I really wanted to do. Because yes, I have all these ventures and avenues that like I'm doing now, and then I partake in like Christian talk and all of that stuff, and so I'm totally like you know inspired by that. But then my goal was to just try to teach more about health because I've been vegan for 9 years. I've been
Oh,
vegetarian
great.
for 13.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I have a lot of stories to tell. I have just knowledge stirring and I had like 12 or 13 videos up on here. But
Wow.
and I'm not put down by necessarily just not wanting to put more videos. I just don't want my face or want me on here anymore as far as full in-depth videos and footage. I had
Yeah.
all this knowledge and I could still pass it on, and I actually now I've made a YouTube account where I have, you know, 6 videos, but not even including all the stuff that I've already made up and managed doing,
Yeah.
that I could eventually start doing, which what I'm doing is I'm making AI voiceover videos on any topic, you generally health and educational stuff. But yeah, maybe I'll
Yeah.
just start doing that instead, because I've been
And
shadow banned. I've been suspended for just sharing my YouTube URL. It's really dumb.
really,
Yeah, but
yeah,
you know,
crazy stuff. But you know
yeah.
what? The beautiful thing is on this show, everyone's protected. I only had one moment in time when I first got on TikTok where I had a problem with them. And I explained what happened and whatever their algorithm did, or some finally human being saw my story. Whatever happened, they reversed it. They thought I was a teenager, and they wouldn't let me go live. This is when I first started with TikTok, and I'm saying this is not happening. I said, Kadar Maka told me you need to learn to message them until you get a live person and not an algorithm or computer. I did get a live person, and they saw that they were wrong, and that I was who I say I was, and I've never had a problem with TikTok since then, really.
Yeah. Well,
So we
I'd
all
like
have
to
to,
hear
we
you.
all have to stand in our light, and realize we can use these apparatuses for good. We can mold these apparatuses for the work we do to transform the planet. And all it is a technology. If we take control of the technology, then we have the freedom to liberate the planet. And that's what we're doing, right? Whether it be health or learn teaching people to be healthier in what they eat, that's a beautiful thing. And I think you'll do very well doing that, you know?
Thank you. Thank you. My mind is racing right now. You have no idea. I totally am immersed in what you're saying, and I totally believe it.
No, you
Eh,
will.
yeah. You you have gone through stints in this app. I noticed that, and they do that, and even if you're like just on here for a certain amount of time, they start reducing views. I feel like because as many people have come on here and have portrayed themselves and done stuff, you really have to be active, and then you fall into a certain bracket or margin where you for sure have to be getting enough likes, or there's definitely pressure on here to keep getting views, because I don't know, I feel like sometimes, well, definitely lately the whole TikTok app has kind of been wavering on the internet connections, you know.
Yeah, it has. Some of it is the TikTok, and some, depending what we're talking about, some of it, and we'll have Riley join us too. Some of it happens to be the government, especially depending on the topic. I know with my particular show, I don't care what government people are listening in the DoD or whatever, and I've told the DoD, those within the intelligence community on here, that if you're not for the opening of the truth regarding what's going on with our space brothers and sisters, the commander on this show is going to pull you right out, that the commander is going to call you out. And I've done this on my show. I have no fear of what I do. People on here know what I do. I've been in the radio I've been in the radio since the 70s. And I'm going to tell another story here that I just remembered. Here we go. In the 1970s, when I was at a radio station, WGDR, which was, I used to call it the WGDR was, the Green Mountain, Democratic radio station, because we're in the Green Mountain of Vermont. And I was doing, a music show, and in that period, one year, one night, all kind of weird stuff was going on. We saw UFOs. I mean, all over the campus in the sky. People were, some of us were seeing stuff. And then that same night, we see an orange out to the north of the campus in Plainfield, Vermont. To the north, it's all woods. It's all countrified and maybe some farms. We see this orange light, and I'm thinking, oh, that's got to be a helicopter. Oh, that's a helicopter just hanging around the woods. I'm saying to myself, what the heck is a helicopter that's orange hovering over the woods? It stopped. I said to myself, wait a minute, that's not even a helicopter. There's no rotate, there's nothing. Then we realized, another friend of mine, that, what, we see this thing over there hovering, and we realize we're seeing, well, now I would know it was a spaceship. And we were a little bit wanting to go, and then I was a little bit hesitant to go. It was only less than a half a mile down this road to the other road where this thing was. We knew exactly where it was. It was just hovering. It wasn't even moving.
Yeah.
And I said, we're not going anywhere. That's when I was a little bit hesitant. Now, would I have been hesitant? Probably no. But when I saw this thing, I was like, oh, I'm thinking logically in my head, oh, that's a helicopter. What is a helicopter doing in Plainfield, Vermont at this hour of the night, hovering? Now I know it was a spaceship, right?
Yeah.
You
Well,
know, it didn't click.
wow. I do want to say something. I believe I've had contact with two Greys before, two separate incidences with Greys. Okay.
Hmm.
One recently, like maybe a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
And then when I was a kid, I did see a UFO over my hometown in Montebello, small town, and just growing up, I would always be outside, right? Because that's what we did. That's what us millennials and pre-millennial, all the old school, we did all back in the days. So the the weird thing was my friends were just out. out of their wits just calling me. They're like, "Hey, are you seeing what's going on in the sky?" And they're like, "We're coming over." And them and their mom, both of my friends and their mom came over. And my mom was like, "What is it?" And she went outside and she started videotaping it. And it was just
Yeah.
it had a reddish hue to it, but it was metallic. But
Yeah.
as we got into the street and got a clear view of it and just watched it for minutes, for maybe 10, 15 minutes or more, we noticed in the camera it was red. It was like,
Red.
yeah, but it's weird because it still had a metallic appearance, and when you looked at it from your pure purview, you could see clearly it had a certain physical metallic substance to it, but maybe that was just a certain type of, how that effect uh uh was, how that made, experience that in that moment.
Yeah.
But then as we were watching it, literally within like a 10-second time frame, it
Hmm.
disappeared. It
Yeah.
disappeared, and then it reappeared in a completely different, like 40 degrees, like far distant, on a different side of the sky, and it just reappeared like 10 seconds later. We're like, dude, that thing just teleported, and we actually had it
Yeah.
on film. And I think my friends still have it on film, but I don't know where they have it. It's been so
Oh, you got
long.
to find it. You've got to find that film and get it, transfer it on here so we can see it, man. That would be very, very beautiful, you know. And also,
Yeah.
let's all say hello, Levik, to Riley, Custom Guitars. He's from the planet on Earth in a human body,
Hi,
as everybody
Riley.
is, you know. And Riley, welcome to the show here on Encounters.
Thanks for having me back on. I know I've been kind of away for a while, but I've got a new setup, as you can see, and been moving and ran across this.
Dang.
I'll take it
What
off.
is
I
that?
added the cord, but look.
Oh, okay. I couldn't see it before. Oh, did you make that? Is that an artistic creation?
So I stumbled upon someone that has found these artifacts and trying to uh, disqualify them, that they're not what they really are, because they dug them up and they try to carbon date them. And he's here on TikTok, and it's kind of like blew my mind because I believe it. But you have to go to his channel, and I'm not trying to like,
I
you
think
know,
I'm gonna be. I think I'm gonna have this person on my show. I think I'm Shy told me about him, and he wants to come on here, and
yeah,
we're gonna get
I
hooked
have
up
his
with him and
card
have him on
from
the
me
show.
buying this. But the
Yeah,
thing that, you know how skeptical I am, but
yeah.
like this right here, you can't carve lines like that. But if you look close, let me take it off.
Now, where did that come from? Just to give us some perspective. Where'd you get that?
So he's got a lot of artifacts. He's got so many artifacts, it's ridiculous. And he's been gathering them and collecting them as well and all that stuff. But he had a small assortment of ones that he's just like, I have so many, I need to get rid of them. And he's not like this, and I'm going to make like multiples. So they're not made. It's like it's a one-off. And I got a hold of him in his live, and then I went to his shop, and he told me how much this was because this wasn't listed. And then he listed it on eBay, and I quickly got it. But the thing is, if you look at this, it's really, really, you can tell how it was drawn, so to speak. You can see short, little, quick plasma bursts, and
Mhm.
his other stuff is amazing. And this is just a small sampling, but look at this. Let's see. Try to
Now,
focus.
does he
Wow.
say what that? Someone says here he's selling duplicates. Wife says he has too many. As you're saying, he has too many. So
Well,
evidently he
he
has too
he has
many.
he has ones that are he's getting carbon dated, and he wants them like, like someone prove that this is not real or is real, because he's got whistles, he's got rings that are like this big around. This
Hmm.
with beads, someone probably wore. I just added this,
Hmm.
but like
Does he say, Riley, where they come, like who created them, where
in
they come
Mexico.
from? Has he gotten any historical knowledge
Yes.
of that?
So he has a whole like setup and everything. Here's some other ones, like you can tell like that's a mask. Like he's got like ancient skulls, but on the back side of these, and I wish he would have pictured it. It has carvings on the flat part.
Yeah.
This stone,
Hmm.
and maybe Levik could see what it is. When you put a light to it, it will glow. Like
Really?
not like glow in the dark, but for a quick moment because of the
It'll go.
energy.
So when we look at this, did he
Yeah.
explain to you what that skull and that symbol is supposed to represent? Does he know what it means or anything?
So,
Or
so if you look at his other artifacts, you'll see that almost all of them have elongated eyes as well, skulls
hmm
or pictures. So when you
yeah,
go to his thing and you see, I just was watching him live, so he was trying to show off his stuff, and he's got videos, but a lot of them go really quick. But I was there, and it's like some of these, yeah, sure, he might have ran across some fake ones, buying them and getting them from other people. But that's what
yeah,
he's looking for. Is looking for what's real and what's fake. And he had excavators go down, and like you can watch him dig up some of these artifacts. So these are
wow,
like pre like in Mexico, Jalisco. But look at how smooth this is. You know it's real stone. It's not light.
yeah.
You know.
No, I can see that.
But the let me see if I can get it to focus better. Like you can see it short spurts, and a lot of his artifacts when you put the I'm trying to remember the type of light.
So it's a rock, not a stone.
It is a rock, and
Oh,
then
okay.
he's got carvings on it, but it's not like look at how precise that is.
Interesting. So it
Wow.
could be some kind of barytic
Yeah.
stone, but
Hey, I'm on.
anything that has like a
Like
calcite,
look at his other stuff.
What is that
it's
supposed to look
probably
for?
some
What is
kind of
that
It's like
supposed
a
to be?
mask.
earthen calabrese or something. Interesting.
Hmm.
But his look at this is another one. I mean, he's got tons of these, and some of these are really big.
Now, he's been carbon dating also non-terrestrial stuff too, from my understanding, correct?
Yeah, I believe if you go on his website, which I've looked, and independent people have been trying to figure out what's in the lines, because some of them
Yeah.
have like a darkening, and they glow when you put the light on them. And then like you could see let me try to describe here. So this is like a mask looking this way.
Like a sunstone mixed with a
Yeah,
bar.
they're all glued together, and then he tried to actually look in what the material is to glue them all together. And when you put
Yeah.
this light on them, each one kind of glows. Like it's like a moon rock in a way, but then some of them are red too.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting.
And then like on this mask, but when you look carefully, you can see like a face with elongated head, like a gray almost, or whatever.
Or something. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
I.
a third eye right there.
Uh huh. I think
Like a
he's the one I've
ceremonial
been
mask.
told. I think he's the one I've been told by Shy to bring on to the show. If I'm thinking
Yeah.
of the same person, I think we're going to have him on the show as a special guest soon in the next few days.
It
Excuse me.
you know, he's not selling everything, and yeah, I mean, he's selling some of them, but some of the other ones, he just no, there's no way I'm getting rid of this.
Yeah.
So when you can hear in someone's voice truthfulness,
Right.
and yes, this was truthfulness.
And he's dedicated to this knowledge. Obviously, that's his mission to, decode all this information.
Exactly. So the other reason I wanted to come up is I have my air conditioner off, and my house is starting to get really hot. And I have to do that, have this air conditioner off, so you guys that saw me move this a little bit saw when he was talking about energy and how if I focus, I
Thanks,
get that.
Levik, for being here, by the way. Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Levik, for sharing your story live with us. And we appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Yeah, but I could just have it sitting on that quartz. But I wanted to show that, and then I can turn off the air or turn back on the air conditioner. I'll be quiet and let you guys talk. I really appreciate it. I have way more to share with you, but I'll bow out for a minute while I
And
turn
just
my
let
air
people know,
conditioner back on.
we're on the East Coast, so we're going to sign off at 1 o'clock tonight. And then tomorrow night, I believe tomorrow night we'll be on. Yeah, we'll be on tomorrow night at some point.
So
So
something,
go ahead.
one of the things that's important for you to understand, Commander, is if you're not following a guy named Ryan Hall, y'all, on YouTube, I highly, all the people that are having these weather things and worried about hurricane, go there, because he's able to speak what's going to happen in the weather, and he's been really, really good for the last like year and a half to 2 years. Like I
Hmm.
had literally avoided tornadoes. I was the only one to have tornadoes in my area in all of Texas, and without
Yeah.
him and me following, I wouldn't have known, and I wouldn't have been out there, and I wouldn't have saved the 3 neighbors that were out there filming with me, and we didn't see what was coming, and it happened like
Wow.
that.
And as
Um,
you're saying that, I want to say something because if you see me
you've got
turning
a
my head,
hurricane coming next week.
I just want to say that 2 times tonight, my lamp over here blinked. Now, the bulb's good, and I'm listening to people and listening to your story, and it just happened again. And I'm saying something's going on here, but I'm not going to try to divert myself from the show here. But that happened. I get these things happening here, and I'm used to it. So now, what are you going to do, Riley, for what you want to show here on Encounters?
Okay, so I was just showing you that it's aluminum foil, and then it reacts to this push of energy. I try to stop short, and it's like a telekinesis thing that I've been obviously manipulating and playing with, and I couldn't believe I could do it. But Levik was talking about energy and yoga and meditation, and I've been spiritually awakened when I lost my wife to alcoholism.
And so what? So show us now what physical. Just let's just go right ahead and just do it, man.
Okay, so that's just a crystal. This is just aluminum foil, and it's just light. I mean, that's the major thing, is just light, and
Hmm.
you can feel something. And I don't have any air conditioning on to prove that it's not a
Okay.
wind.
Right. This way that you can't say,
I
oh, it's
just
the
have it
wind from the.
balancing. It's just on something very pointy. This happens to be a quartz crystal right there.
Okay.
And one of the things that Levik even said is like, I heard this in a video one time. The rocks are the bones of the earth. And another thing that really resonates is that the sun has been scientifically proven to emit atoms and rays that we can't see to the naked eye, and cameras can't see it. But back in the day when the supercomputers were around, and they had 0001, 0001, or all that in the very, very first like inventing of that, they figured out that the cosmic rays could go through the computers and actually change the numbers.
Okay. So let's do
And
this.
that's
'Cause I
why
also,
even if we're in our house, we're getting bombarded by solar
right.
rays and all
Yeah.
sorts of things.
I'm going to have
And
you do that. And we're going to bring Zilla on too before
yeah,
the end of the show tonight. So I want
and
to make sure
I'll turn off the thing.
we
But I do
no
have
problem.
pictures of the craft I saw, but
Okay.
it's really grainy. But I saw a
Okay.
craft right after a big like supercell passed my house, and it rained really, really, really hard. I went
Yeah.
outside and was like filming it, and I was taking pictures, and I've got them on my computer. But it's just like it was just all I saw was a glowing light. And I
Okay.
got about 4 frames of that. But I knew, like, I was trying to catch like lightning, so it was by
Yeah.
certain circumstance. I was just more focused on that. But I noticed, I'm like, why there was a craft right after that craziness? Like, who would
Right.
be flying in this literally through a supercell? So I'm pretty sure that that was a craft I was taking a picture of.
And we'll deal with that on another show for
Yeah, another
specifically
show,
that.
another
But
time.
let's do this,
So
and then we'll get Zilla on there. I want to get everybody in here. I know you were trying to bunch it all in at once here tonight. So yeah, let's do that and see what you're going to show us here. That would be beautiful. If you're watching the show, which you are, this is Encounters, the late night UFO talk show discussing disclosure, UFO sightings, your visitations, and everything related to this incredible area of time that we live in, for sure. I'm CmdrAleon, your host, also host of WESU-FM's The Cosmic Eye Radio. Riley's going to show us something right now. We're going to have Zilla give us an update from Maine. Since the last time, I'm sure a lot of stuff's been going on. We want to make sure that our brother Zilla could get in and tell us some things that are happening up there in the country, up there in the beautiful state of Maine. Riley, if Riley's still here, I think he's somewhere.
I'm here. I had to turn my air conditioner back on because I've been boiling, prepping. You know, I had it all set up without the air conditioner. I'm like, so we're good.
No. Okay. So, why we're doing this, Riley, go ahead and let's do a quick thing of that, and we'll watch the screen as you do that visibly with your hands, whatever you're doing, so people can see it. Zilla will come on, and then Zilla will give us some updates about the ET world up in Maine. We want to get some stuff from him, and Zilla will be invited, and will be as soon as we get this together with our C5 group. He's certainly going to be part of our group once we get that thing set up, hopefully for next Saturday. I want to give people enough time to plan ahead for this. So that's a whole nother subject, which I'll get into. A lot of things happening, folks. So go ahead, Riley. Take it away. Oh, I guess he's taking it away.
I just turned my camera back on.
Okay.
So, yeah, basically, like, I've had some. I didn't know. I think this would help the room the most. I've had a lot of synchronicity, and that word made a lot of sense. Like, I talked about the invention thing, right? And I'm like, I don't even know how this is going to happen. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing videos popping in that put it all together. So the timing isn't there because I don't like have a 3D printer and all this stuff, but I'm like patent videos and all of these like information has been thrown my way. And I'm like, this is really bizarre. I'm very, very skeptical.
People want to. Is it impossible to do it right now because you have the air on?
No, they want to see that, then I can do that now. When I have the air, when you have the air, which kind of elevates it and kind of makes it lift, so to speak, it will actually move in a circle and stuff. When the air conditioner's off, I can do the force push and it will move.
Well, so that's what they want to do. They want to see that.
Okay, I'll do it again. It takes a minute and you have to concentrate. You can't that's why any distraction, just you have to be believing in it. And it takes a minute too to travel, so to speak. So I'm manipulating.
They're watching you do that.
So I want it to stand still so you can see, and I try not to put any wind. So I'm trying to show it's not wind. I know it's not. You see? I'm trying. I have to be focused. That's the biggest thing.
Okay, and let's take a minute while you're doing that. I want to bring Zilla in here. Zilla, are you there?
I am.
Hey, brother. Good evening. How you doing? Good morning.
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good, good. And what updates do we have from the world of the space people in Maine?
Well, currently we just had a real bad, I don't know, I guess you'd say it was a supercell go through. Yeah. But there's cloud coverage all around us, and right now I can see one craft that's below the clouds.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know if I'll tilt my camera up. I don't think you guys can see it, but that's the only thing in the sky. Yeah, you can see it right there.
Oh yeah.
It's the only thing in the sky right now.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to. I'll lose connection if I hold it up like this too long. But
okay, folks. Do you see that little dot?
That's yeah, I'll get it. There it is.
Yeah, see it? Right
That's
there.
That's that orange one. I don't know if you got the videos I sent you, but
I don't know if I'm going to check them out. See that spaceship? That's actually a spaceship. That little light there? You can see it right there if you look really, really well, folks. Look at that.
It's all cloud coverage, and that thing's the only thing visible in the sky right now.
The clouds too. Wow.
Below the clouds.
I'm going to put you on a big screen. Hold on a second here.
Yep.
Okay, now we're going to have
All
it
right.
on a big screen so you can see it. See the ship? There it is right there. I enlarged it right now so everyone can see it. It's cloud cover, and that's below the cloud cover. Now you're seeing one of the
We just had a
spaceships.
supercell go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Mine showed up as a dot right after this big cloud.
Yeah, and Zilla's in Maine.
You can tell it's moving too.
Yeah. And too bad
I don't
they
want to
have
lose you guys, so I have to set you down.
That's okay. That's okay.
That's my front-facing camera is not. No, I can switch it to my front-facing real quick. See if I can get a better zoom on it.
Yeah.
Let me do that.
And Zilla is our contactee up in Maine. He's had many beautiful events and sightings. And when he comes back, Stacy, I think he'll be able to point to it. Yeah. You're watching Encounters.
Yeah, my
folks.
front-facing isn't picking it up for whatever reason. Sorry, my front-facing camera doesn't pick it up for whatever reason. I'll switch back to this one where it was.
Someone's saying
there it is.
581U281 says, can you use a laser pointer at it?
Actually, I don't have one, but my neighbor just bought one of those astronaut things that shoots out like a bunch of like green lasers, and it makes like a fake galaxy. And I'm gonna have him bring it down here this weekend, and
wow,
I'm gonna try and like get him to manipulate. I've had some. So a few nights back, I had somebody not believing me that what was going on, and there was like 50. I'd say 50 craft up in the sky. Wow. And I told them that somebody doesn't believe me, and they got into like these triangle and square formations, and they started spinning in circles, shooting across the sky in different directions. And then we had music playing, and they started like pulsating to the beat of our music.
Wow.
So unfortunately, I didn't catch that on video, but I wasn't really like trying to videotape anything. So
no, gotcha.
But yeah, I've had some crazy stuff happen. I don't know if you got the videos I sent you, but
I'm in the chat.
I sent them to Down the Rabbit Hole. I posted a couple too. For whatever reason, I can't send you messages, Commander.
But
I've had
be able to.
a video of. Right, it says my message limit reached or whatever.
That's
but I posted a video. I posted a video of the I'm videotaping one of these at like 6 in the morning, and I couldn't see. I was using the screen record, and I was taking pictures at the same time, and all of a sudden this like craft comes out of nowhere. There's no propulsion on it. It was trying to attack the craft that I was videotaping,
really?
But it morphed. Yeah, it morphed into like what looked like a jet, but there's no propulsion. My camera was picking it up, but you couldn't see it with the naked eye. There was no sound. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So somebody doesn't want these things around.
So, was the craft that was trying to attack the spaceship, was it another ET craft, or was it something else?
It looked at. I mean, what would I would think would be like one of our reproductions coming in and like trying to, and they were making non like the way it looks in my pictures and like in the video, it eventually turns into like what looks like an old jet, like an F4, right?
Right.
But the maneuvers it's making is that a jet doesn't make those maneuvers. Like it doesn't, go up and down like that.
That leads me to another question. Do you think it's reverse engineered technology that we've gotten to the point of we can do that stuff, and it was our own technology trying to attack this non-terrestrial spacecraft?
Yeah, that's firmly what I believe, for sure. Because
I get that.
I have plenty of video of like when I'm recording them, and our stuff just comes in and like disrupts it, and like they'll fly like right through them and do all types of crazy stuff. But yeah, I got quite the other morning. I had so I've been at like 6 in the morning, between 5:30 and 6 every morning. I've been having the same craft come up, and it either comes from the south heading north, or the north heading south, and like I'll see it through the tree line, and then I'll, it'll kind of make contact and like stay with me for a minute, and then as the sun rises, it heads east towards the sunset. So it's not like a star; it's heading opposite direction of everything.
Now,
And the last video,
is that the one coming
go
from the
ahead.
south? One of the non-terrestrial craft or a terrestrial craft?
Non-terrestrial.
Okay,
Like
that's on
they're protecting this area for sure. I have video of them, like, I guess you'd say like scrubbing the air, like they're like, I've seen them like clean up chemtrails that they've just recently laid down before.
Really interesting.
Yeah, so like they're sucking that shit out of the air and sending it.
Good.
Yeah.
We know there are galactic brothers and sisters who are doing that. If they're doing that, they're coming from the other levels of light. So that's beautiful to hear. We're gonna have to have you on for an exclusive tomorrow night. We're gonna be on tomorrow night. I don't know which time, either 10:30, 11, and 11:30. But we are going to be on tomorrow night. Tomorrow,
I will definitely come on.
We're going to the beach, and I'm going to do some meditation. We're near the water, not far, and we love going to the water. The water is a place where we can enjoy, and I look over the Long Island Sound, and I meditate and use my telepathy to invite our space brothers to in the daytime to show their ships. And I think I'm going to do that tomorrow when I go swimming in the water on the Sound. So that's where I will be tomorrow, folks. I do get out, believe it or not, on the planet. So, we love you, brother. So we're going to have you down at our C5. We didn't have it because things were happening, and this weekend's kind of weird, and I don't like to do things last minute with our group. So I'm going to contact all of our group, look at the weather patterns for next Saturday. I know you said you're willing to come down here, and we'd love to have you come down here. And some of my members of our Ashtar contact group, our C5 group, are in this room right now. Skip the Grace is here, and some of our members of our group. So we got 2 minutes before 1. First of all, I want to thank Anouk. Would you like to give us any comments? You've been very patient.
I was gonna say a couple of things. What I wanted to come on, besides telling you about sharing short tall on your show, if you want to do that, we can. If it's not that big of a deal to you, no big deal. But I thought that might be something you would like to do on your show. It's very interesting to see in person. And then the other thing I wanted to say, 2 things. I wanted to say that Zilla is exactly right. In the physical form that I am, we are in observance of your planet, and there's a lot of reverse engineering that is much greater than what a lot of you are aware of. And they are extremely starting to accelerate their reverse engineering. They're shooting down so many different extraterrestrial ships, and they're doing a ton of the reverse engineering. And so they're able to do a little more than what they could, but they still don't have the technology that your extraterrestrial family has, not even close. But they can do some things, like be able to move and do things. But some of those things are also there. It looks like a ship, but it's actually a type of drone, and it's a reverse technology as well. And they're able to do it because there's nobody in the ship. Now, what I wanted to talk to you about that I found very interesting is your show the other night about the moon. And I know quite a bit about the moon, and the reason why is because the Andromedans are the one that built that moon you have. And it is a ship for sure. It was not flown there. It was drugged there. There's a tow hitch on there, and you can find it on Google and on YouTube. Gaia channel did a real expose on it, and there's a towing spot because we towed it there. And the reason that it is there is because your second son was removed about 15,000 years ago. And when your second son was taken away, there were certain reasons why, because the extraterrestrial family already knew your timeline, what you were going to do. You guys were going to start letting nukes off later on in the future. And the only way they could do this was set the moon here, get it in cycle, because it caused a great ice age on your planet when the second sun was taken out and the moon was placed. And there's a dwarf star inside that moon, and we've programmed it, the Andromedans, to face your planet a certain way, revolve around your planet a certain way, so that it keeps your planet in a balance with your oceans and your tides without having your second sun. And if you go back in your history, you can look in the Egyptian writings, Sumerian writings, they say you had two suns, and you don't. And the only way you can't have a second sun anymore is if you have a satellite like the moon to balance your planet.
Right, and as you listen to my show, and I've gotten more in depth about the moon that's not a moon. It's an intergalactic station. Many civilizations that are advanced. Well, that's why astronomers who videotaped it with their cameras have videotaped spaceships coming out of the moon, a squadron of them. Why? There's entrances into the base of the moon where the ships come. There's many different beings inside that moon. People think, oh, I'm looking at the moon. I busted the matrix on that a long time ago. And even the beings I deal with from the command themselves have told me you need to tell people about the moon that is an intergalactic way station. And that's why NASA's interested in it, because they know that the moon's not a moon. They've never told the truth in 70 years. Nobody has.
No,
So
they
I'm not,
haven't. No,
not to
no
go too
satellite
crazy.
could sit outside of your planet and sit facing you one way and not be some kind of ship. It would be
Yeah.
impossible.
So Saturday night, because I want to wind down here so I can get some go off planet for a while, if you know what I mean.
Of
Uh,
course.
we all do,
We're
right?
going live. We're going live at midnight. So as soon as your show's over, like an hour or two, we're going to go live.
So you're on the West Coast. That's right. You're in a different time zone. So the commander here wants to thank everybody. Zilla, we're going to have you back on. People that were not able to get on tonight, I will get you on tomorrow night or Sunday night. I will have you on. So don't feel discouraged. We've been on even longer than we thought. We've been on for, about 2 hours, I think, or 10:30. No, it was about 11. I don't remember anymore. But anyway, you're watching Encounters, the late night UFO talk show. Zilla, thank you for being on here tonight. We're going to have you on as a regular person to share the ships in the skies above Maine. And Zilla is very connected with our space brothers and sisters. He has a lot of different beings intergalactic coming there, but he also has the ones that are working for the good of the planet. So we thank him. We thank Riley for being here, showing us a demonstration of some things, hopefully keeping cool with the air conditioner on. Also, we want to thank Anouk for being here, my brother from the Andromedan star system, me from Mars with the Ashtar Galactic Command, your talk show host every Sunday morning on NPR Pacifica Radio. Yes, indeed, I do a real radio show for the last 20 years. I've been doing radio since the 70s when I was in Vermont. But the last 20 years, my show, Skip to Grace, good to see you. Thank you for moderating and everybody there. So we're going to call it a night, and I want to thank you all for being here. I'm going to do this slowly here. We're going to disconnect everybody a little bit here. Anouk, take care, my brother. Be well. And tell the Andromedans we say hello. Riley, be well. And now to say thank you. If there's any last minute giftings you want to do, now's the time of the show to do the giftings. As a matter of fact, I did make a promise, which I have to keep. I'm going to show you a crystal, and this crystal I will show you for any gifting that you do, whether it be a hat, a whale, a galaxy, or whatever you want to do. This is gifting time at the end of the show. Here, I promised you this, and I'm going to hopefully see some more gifting here when I show you this. So I'm going to show you this crystal, and you're going to see some things happen here beyond the thing here. So I'm going to do this. I promised it at the beginning of the show. I haven't forgotten. Thank you for the gifts. All gifts are good, whatever size gifts they are. you can see things right now as you're looking. So we'd like to end the show with some things here. Oh, thank you. Thank you, the Only Vibe. Thank you so much. You're going to see some things here. We don't want you to miss out on what's happening here. Thank you, Terry. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're going to bring it forward a little bit here. Kadar Manka says, turn it a little bit so people can see. Every crystal I have in the last 15, 20 years are all ET crystals. When I say that, some of these are actually transmitters and receivers, not just of energy, but of visuals. You might be able to see some other stuff right here. I'll bring it back a little bit here. Right there. There you go. You see that? You should be able to see that. Can you see that? That really bright being inside the crystal? The commander has many crystals here. They're not your normal crystals. We're going to show you some other things here too. See if we can get a little bit closer here. There's also something else here. Oh my gosh. Late. Oh my gosh. Thank you. We love you. Thank you. Ah, let us show you some more things here. There's something right there. Right there. They see you too. Let me see if I could show you the angel. There's an angel somewhere in here. Is she there? There it is. Yep. Do you see the woman inside? Thank you, Riley. Yeah, the angel is always in the crystal. You can see the angel. I can't make this stuff up. Yes. I cannot make this stuff up, brothers and sisters. Everything I share with you is real. Everything I share with you is true. And I'm supposed to share this with you so you know. All right. I'm going to show you one more crystal. This is going to be, this is not the biggest one. There's a longer one. I'm going to show you this one here before we sign off. There's a lot of energy. Sometimes they interfere. I'm going to show you this one here. Tell me what you see. There's a lot going on right here. These crystals will show you realities beyond Earth. And I know you're all going to see different things here. I'm going slow, so you may see whatever you see. Should I bring it up a little bit more? Let me switch it here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Whoops. The crystals are affecting the camera. These are very powerful crystals. Okay. Kadar Manka is telling me to get some rest. Everybody, blessings. Thank you for your gifts. Thank you for being here. We love you all. We'll be on tomorrow night again with encounters. And let's discuss disclosure, your UFO sightings, ET visitations. Thank you for the gifts. Who just did that one? Let me see here. So I can't see who did it. Whoever did it, thank you. Oh, the good night gift, late freight. Thank you. Thank you so much. We love you all, the new people coming here. Britt, thank you for being here. Everybody, Blondie, everybody that's been here. Please let people know about the show. This is the main UFO show on social media. And this is the #1 show on social media. So we want to thank you all for being here. I'm going to get out of here. This show is going to be on my YouTube channel. If you missed any parts of the show, I'll put it on there by tomorrow. So we will have it on our YouTube channel. It's Ashtar Command Spaceship News. Every show we do is going to be on our YouTube channel. And also on Facebook. Take care, everybody. Peace, love, and light. This is CmdrAleon. And remember, disclosure is above you.